Hi there everybody, it's Verity here from inkybutterfly.wordpress.com. Thank you for joining me today on my continued journey showcasing the Quite Curvy stamp set and the coordinating curvy dies. Okay, this is what we're going to use today, and I'll just put those to one side so they're ready. And this is the card we're going to use. And I've just realised I haven't cut my cardstock, so we'll do that for you right here now so you can see how I cut a card base. Let me just reach across and get that cardstock out. So all the colours bar the tummies on the birds are actually the in colours. So we've got some Misty Moonlight on the pearls, Magenta Madness, Just Jade, Cinnamon Cider for the tops of the birds and a bit of stamping, and Bumblebee for the card base. Okay, just going to switch up the colours a little bit. Not that I don't dislike this one, but I thought of other ways that we can use all those same colours in a slightly different way. Okay, so this is what we're going to be trying to achieve. There's quite a bit of die cutting and a bit of colouring and stuff, so bear with. So cutting a card blank from an A4 sheet of paper here, or cardstock I should say. If you haven't seen our trimmer before, this is a stunning piece of kit. Thoroughly recommend it. It's so easy for beginners to, sorry about the glare on my lights, so easy for beginners to use. Very clear markings whether you're imperial or a metric girl, so yeah, really great. The dark blade cuts and the light blade scores, so you can do it all in one. There's a handy dandy little hook, an extension arm, really useful. So yeah, fantastic piece of kit. So when I cut a card base, I'm slotting this in so that it's lengthways, and I cut mine to 4 1/8 of an inch, which is almost 10.5 centimetres if you are working a metric. And I always butt it up to the top, and I cut up to the top against that butt bar. This piece, save for another day, and then we can twizzle that round, and we can line that up at 5 7/8 of an inch just here, which is about 14.4 or no 14.9, sorry, if you want that measurement. So I tend to work in inches, so up sort of half a dozen times up and down there, and you get this nice little score line. Does that pick up on the camera? The light might be too bright for you to, oh yeah, you can see that there. Okay, so I've pressed down on the blade to get that score line, and I'm going to bend away. Okay, I don't need that again. I've got my other pieces. And then the only other thing is, this is a tent fold, and it'll do the splits on you if you're not careful. So a really good sharp crease with a bone folder will make sure that that stands up beautifully without any problem at all. Okay, so that's our card base done. I do need my trimmer again. This is a regular, what I call my regular card layer, which will measure 4 by 5 3/4. But because we've got that this gap that we're going to create, I just want to take off about 1/2 inch. Do I want 1/2 inch? Yeah, let's go for 1/2 inch. So that will make it 5 1/4 high. So again, push up, take away that. Okay, so that's going to be our final measurements on that. So what we want to do is stamp the sentiment, which instead of Cinnamon Cider this time, I'm going to switch it out for Misty Moonlight. So we bring some more of that colour in. And this is the Hooray For You stamp, which I've already mounted on an H block. So another really little recommendation, if you are starting out and you don't have any acrylic blocks, H block and a D block, that's what you want, in my opinion. They're very versatile. Right, I'm going to aim to get that in the middle-ish of the card, So straight down and firm pressure all along that block, but without rocking it. Okay, and then straight up. Okay, and we get a brilliant, fantastic clear impression, and that's with photopolymer too. Really good quality photopolymer stamps from Stampin' Up. I'm just going to put this away just for a moment. I don't think we need it again, but you never know. Things change sometimes. Well, that's just finishing drying. We're going to do some more stamping with the Memento Tuxedo Black. This is to stamp our images that we're going to colour. So that's going to be our birds. So again, if this is new to you, the stamping blends are alcohol-based markers. Therefore, you must use a water-based ink to do your outline image with, okay? Because the alcohol will not mix with the water and blur your image. Okay, if you were doing watercolour, then you would want a solvent-based ink pad, something like Stays On. Okay, so we're just going to press that down. Like so, and hopefully we can fit this other one in here, just about. Did just pull out a scrap, hoping it would all fit on, so there we go. Brilliant. Of course, you can use as much cardstock as you want. I was just trying to use up some scraps. Okay, so those images are ready to be coloured in. Okay. Yeah, let's do that next. So I'm bringing in the stamping blends. Now the only blend that doesn't, the only in colour that doesn't come in a blend is the Bumblebee, which is why I've pulled in the So Saffron, which is for the little bellies on the birds. Okay, so we're just going to quickly colour those in. I'm not going to be doing any intense blending or anything. We're just going to use them to get a nice strong colour throughout the piece. Now my birds before were the cinnamon cider, but I'm going to switch that out for the Misty Moonlight and bring that in through the birds as well. So again, no heroics with the blending or anything, we're just going to colour it in. And it will look like the line art disappears a little bit and probably looks very dark on your view, but it dries back a little lighter, and in real life that line art isn't lost. And if you've not used these markers before, basically they're brilliant, so please do purchase them. They are fantastic. The links to all the products I use will be in the description of this video. Link directly to my online shop. And all the blends come as a combo with a light and a dark marker. Okay, so you can blend straight out the packet. Okay, so it's a one-off price. You get them both with your single item number, and they blend together beautifully. If you want to do that, you can blend other markers together. So if you've got several types of pink, if you caught my video earlier in the week where I was doing all the leaves and things, you saw how I was combining pens there to get a different look. The other thing is that they are dual ended, so I am using the bullet tip because the detail on these particular images is quite small. Okay, but if you are colouring large areas and if you're doing more blending, I would use the other end, which is a bush style tip, which I shall show you in a moment when I've finished this section. there is dedicated storage available for these as well in the Stampin' Up catalogue. So just turn to the page, if you've got a catalogue, turn to the page with all the storage on and you will see there are racks available for the markers, which will hold them horizontal. You don't want to store these upright because you don't want the alcohol to drain to the bottom and dry out the opposite nib. Okay. And the other thing to just be sure of is that the lids of the pens are on securely as well, but also to prevent evaporation of the alcohol. But other than that, they're flipping brilliant. I love them. Just so easy to work with. And the fact they come in pairs means if you are new to any kind of blending and stuff like that, it's just dead easy to do out the bag. Right, I think I got them all. Last time I was doing, so I always press down on my desk to make sure the lid is on properly. Okay, so as I was saying about the dual tip, okay, so we've got a skinny line and the bullet tip there, but we've got a fat line here, and there's a brush tip, and it looks like that. Really, really nice brush tip. Is that in focus? Okay. And then we're going to bring in Magenta Madness. Beautiful bright pink. To get those flowers coloured in. So this bundle that I'm using is brand new, and it's an early release. Okay, so as a demonstrator, I was actually able to order this in advance and start working with it, and that is just one of the brilliant demonstrator perks that you get. As soon as you join, you will get 20% off the catalogue price for all the products in there. You will be able to earn incentive trips if you sell. If you decide to sell, you don't have to, of course. You could be a hobby demo and just buy for the discount, but if you decide to make this a business and you're able to get the sales, you can earn incentive trips, and they go to some fantastic places. Fantastic. I think the last one was the last one the Greek Isles? I lose track. I've never managed to achieve one yet. I will one day. Right, I'm looking for the dies. So yeah, they've been all over the place. Alaska, which, you know, it's okay, it's not hot and sunny, but the pictures from there were fantastic. Really, really great. There's the coordinating dies for those, and we need this this die as well. So lots of opportunities, and for me, one of the best things, I need my magnetic platform while I'm rubbing away. I'm not concentrating on what I'm doing. The best thing for me is that I've made a whole heap of friends, and I think you may be in the same position. You're sitting in your space, whether that be your dining room in front of the telly or wherever it is that you do your craft, and it can be you can feel like you're the only person in the world doing it, but when you join Stampin' Up, you realise there are thousands of us that are doing it, and when the virus goes away, we'll actually be able to start meeting everybody again as well. So in the next week or so, we've got our on stage event, which would have been an actual physical event for us to go to and everything, but because of the situation at the moment with with coronavirus. We're not able to do that, which is extremely sad for me. I do love meeting the rest of my larger team. You know, got some great friends, all because of Stampin' Up. So you, hopefully you saw there, I was just getting those die cut while I was just chatting to you. Okay, so we'll get these done, and then I'll show you how we do the that centre portion. So yeah, a bit of die cutting, but it's dead easy to do. Again, if you've not come across die cutting before, there's the machine's just off to my right. It's a bit big to get onto my camera, but it comes with all the platforms you need, and it comes with instructions. So when you're using your thin dies, you have to have this, and in fact you need it for every sandwich that you do. If you're doing die cutting, this goes next, using with your thin dies. Okay, do not use with embossing folders, so you would take that out, only use it with your dies. And I've been using the magnetic platform as my bottom cutting plate. But if you haven't got a magnetic platform, you would use a number 3 plate. Put your paper and dies on top, and then cover it with a second plate, and then roll it through. Okay, but because I'm using my magnetic platform, I'm substituting that, then putting my dies down, and then that way around, and then putting the cutting plate on top. And you just wind it through. It's like it goes through a slot in the front of the machine, and you kind of wind it through, and the pressure of the rollers will make that edge, so this raised edge that's on a metal die, the pressure will can't get that to focus properly on the die, but I think you can see that there's a raised edge on there. It isn't sharp in any way, but the pressure of the rollers will then mean that that raised edge pushes into the cardstock and cuts it. Okay, so I'm lining up this die underneath there. Okay, so again we need our top plate to go on there, roll that through. So when you lift that off, you get this, oops, I didn't roll it all the way to the end, that's my mistake. I was trying to do it a bit quicker. I thought it had got to the end. I'm just checking that there's no little pieces of paper stuck in the bottom of that. So I'm going to rotate that round. I'm going to have to get all these little bits out of the way. Oops. I'm just going to pick those up quickly and chuck them in my little bin that's behind me. If you leave little spots on your plate and then try and cut over the top, you risk them like almost like embossing into your card, which you don't want, obviously. Okay, so be careful of your cutting edge. So I'm going to flip that round, so the cutting edge at the top with the spots lower down, and then you've got to find your angle again. Isn't an exact mirror image, but it's near enough. Unless you want to measure it or, I don't know, calculate it somehow, but just get it so it visually looks like it's lined up. It'll be fine. And of course, oh, I'll put that to one side. We need to keep those negatives. Okay. I did that when I was making my sample as well. I was like, where did they go? No, I need to keep them. Okay. So here's our second one. Keep that. Take away that die. Comes away so clean. As I've said this before, but I think this the new dies that are produced by Stampin' Up themselves, rather than a third party, are so much better. I'm just going to use take your pick tool just to push out those. Now I've made a little boo-boo there by not rolling it through all the way, which is why I've got this little piece that hasn't quite die cut, but we'll just pretend that isn't there. Is what it is. Okay. Right, and that comes away all nice and clean. This is a self-healing surface, so it is going to get cut into and everything, but it's going to last for absolutely ages, so no problem there. Rightio then. Let's get some stuff assembled now then. I'm going to just turn over all these little bits, and we're going to use some dimensionals. So I'm going to use larger dimensionals on the banner so that we've got plenty of support on that. Okay, and then we're going to use some of the smaller ones for the birds and the little garland thing. So I just put a couple on these. There we are. So a couple of ways we can get the backs off these. I find these little dudes are good. You can get the backs off with your pokey tool, which is really cool if you struggle to do it with your fingers. Okay, so that's one way of doing that, which I do find easier for the little ones. The little ones are a bit small. Oops, she says, and I can't get that one off. There we go. Oh, Mr. Bird. They're really static as well. There we go. So that's one way you can make it easier. The other way is to press your fingernail into the side and it just lifts the edge. Okay. So if those are the two ways you can make it easier to get those off. My chair is squeaking, so if you can hear it, sorry. Just keeps it. Right, turn those over. We're just going to use some seal to secure these bits. Now, paranoia tells me that I should just check that is the bottom. Yep, that is the bottom. Better to check than make the mistake. So we'll just position this like we would any other card layer. So you know, if you have looked at my videos before, you know I position them, try and get the 3 edges right, and then it shouldn't matter about the fourth. In this case, the fourth one's a cut piece anyway, so it doesn't matter. Okay, so that leaves us our nice channel to then position this. So I am going to use some wet glue to help me make sure that that's where I want it to be. Okay, let's make sure it's the right way up. And we're going to position that. So we're maintaining the border on the sides, if you like, but just trying to make sure it's sort of even in that channel we've created, and that looks super duper to me. Okay, our little garlands then. I don't want to sort of detract from the fact that we've cut the channel out, so these guys are just sort of going on in a bit of an angle, so we can still see that bumblebee coming through and the detail of those dies. So these guys just fit in down there. It's not going to be symmetrical or anything, it's just where it looks nice, where it pleases you. And then we've got our little birdies. So again, I just don't want them to be staring at space really. He's probably a little bit too high now. Oh, he can go there, that's it. He can go there. So the little feet are actually on the branches, so they don't look like they're just sort of floating or anything. Aren't they adorable? Aren't they lovely? And then the final little bit to put on there is my pearls, which I have already coloured with the same marker that I used for the birds. So this is Misty Moonlight. So this is a trick you can do with all your embellishments, so your rhinestones, pearls, anything that is sort of clear or white, you can add colour to with the alcohol markers. Okay, and there we go, that is done. Didn't take too long actually. I thought it was going to take ages on the video, but actually it wasn't too bad. Now I think bringing in the Misty Moonlight has really lifted that that card design, in my personal opinion. I'd love to know what you think. I think that looks really, really lovely. So I've used all the in colours there, apart from cinnamon cider. I haven't used cinnamon cider on this one, have I? Oh well, there you go. Okay, right, thank you very much for joining me for this edition. As I said, all the products that I've used today are all down and linked in the description bar below. If you have liked this video, please give me a thumbs up, and if you haven't already, please subscribe. Trying to get up to the next